So in this module, we will be studying a few basic thermodynamic processes. Let's look at the equations that we are going to use for this particular concept, right? So there are just three equations that we will use. The first one is nothing but Q is equals to delta U plus W, where Q is the heat given to a system. So let's see what our system is first of all. Our system shall be nothing but a gas contained in a container, right? That's my system. If I give Q heat to the system, I'll have a plus Q. If I take out heat, it will be minus Q, right? Then delta U is the internal energy. This is the heat involved in the process. This is the internal energy. And W is nothing but the work done by the system, the PV work done by the system. If the system does work, then this is negative, and if it expands, then it's negative, it's positive. And if the system is compressed, that means if work is done on the system, then it will be negative, right? That's the sign convention that we will follow. The second equation that we will use is nothing but work done is equals to integral PdV, right? Starting from Vi going to Vf, right? This is the work done, the formula for work done that we will use. So if the gas expands, if your Vf is greater than Vi, then this thing will come out to be positive. That means work is done by the system, and in that case work done will be positive. If Wf is lesser than if Vf is less than Vi, that means the gas's volume has decreased, and then in that case work done will be negative, right, by sign convention. And the third, which we will use, is nothing but PV is equal to nRT, the ideal gas law, right? We'll assume that all the gases that we will deal in all the four processes, there are four processes that we will see, we'll assume that our gas is ideal, right? So let's look at the first process. The first process is nothing but isothermal process that we will see. The second is adiabatic. The third process that we shall see is nothing but isobaric. So the third process, and our fourth process shall be isochoric. Let's see what all these four processes are. Right. First of all, let me tell you, there are infinite processes possible as far as that system is concerned. Right. So Q is equals to delta U plus W. Let's say I give 5 joules of heat. If the system utilizes 5 joules, if it utilizes 4 joules to increase its internal energy and 1 joule to do work, that's one process, right? If the same 5 joule is utilized as 3 joule and 2 joule, that's another process. 5 joule, 3.99 joule, 0.0 or sorry, how much? Yeah. 1.01 joule. That's another process. Likewise, in how many ways can I split 5 joule in two quantities? There are infinite ways, right? Every way is a process. We are just picking up 4 special processes from all those processes, right? First is my isothermal, second is my adiabatic, third is my isobaric, fourth is isochoric. Each of these 4 processes is characterized by its special property. What is the property of isothermal process? The property of isothermal process, by the way, there's one more equation that we're going to use, I forgot to write that, that's delta U is equals to NCV delta T, where CV is the heat capacity of the gas at constant volume. That means if I close the container and then see that how much ever heat I give, how much of it is converted into internal energy, in that process, the C involved is nothing but your CV, right? So delta U is equal to NCV delta T. That's the formula that we're going to use. So isothermal process, delta T is 0. There is no change in temperature. Temperature is constant. That is the property of isothermal process. So let's see what will happen when this happens. So first of all, Q is equal to delta U plus W holds good. But as we can see, if my delta T is 0, then delta U is equal to NCV into 0, which is 0, right? So delta U is 0 as far as this particular process is concerned, right? So my Q will simply be equal to W. This is the equation. Now W's formula we'll pick up from here, which is nothing but integral PdV. So Q is also integral PdV, right? But PV is equals to nRT is something that we can use. So I can basically from this particular equation, so I can use V is equals to nRT by P is equals to nRT by V from here. So I'll put that nRT by V here, nRT by V, dV, Vi to Vf. So nRT, all these three are constants because n is constant, number of moles, R is constant, and T is also constant as far as this process is concerned, right? So I'll take nRT out of the integral, and I'll have integral dV by V, which is nothing but ln V. When you integrate limits Vi to Vf, so the formula for work done is nothing but nRT ln Vf by Vi, and this itself is nothing but your Q, right? This is nothing but your Q, nRT ln Vf by Vi. How will the PV graph of this particular thing look like? PV graph, P versus V graph. So PV graph will be nothing but PV is equals to nRT is what you have, right? So nRT is constant, n is constant, R is constant, T is also constant for this process. So PV equal to constant, which is nothing but a rectangular hyperbola. So you will get something like this. This will be the graph, right? What is the heat capacity? Every process has its own heat capacity, C, right? A constant volume process, for that we have CV, right? For this process, for isothermal process, what is my C? So you have Q is equals to NC delta T, right? Depending on the process, if it's constant volume, C will be CV. If it's constant pressure, which we will see for isobaric, C will be CP, right? Likewise, every process has its own C. What is the C for this? Delta T is 0, right? So we have W is equals to nRT ln Vi by Vi is equal to Q. As we can see, Q is some finite value. But here in the formula of Q, you have delta T equal to 0. How will that happen? Only if your C is infinity, right? If your C is infinity, then infinity into 0 can give you a finite number. That's why C for this process is infinity, right? PV graphs looks like this, formula for work is this, C is this, right? Moving on to the next process, which is your adiabatic process. What is the characteristic of adiabatic process? Q is 0. There is no heat exchange involved in the process, right? So Q is equals to delta U plus W is what you have. We know that Q is 0, so W is nothing but minus delta U. The formula for delta U remains the same for every process, and that is NCV delta T. So we'll use that. W is equals to minus NCV delta T, right? That is the formula for work done, right? So I don't need to use integral PV formula here. I can use that, but it's not required for me to use. I can use that formula directly to calculate. Whether you use this formula or whether you use that formula, the result is the same. In fact, I can represent adiabatic process as this PV power gamma is equals to constant, right? In fact, every process, every thermodynamic process can be represented by this equation, PV power x equals to constant, right? If your x is 1, then that becomes isothermal. If your x is gamma, where gamma is nothing but Cp by Cv, Cp is the heat capacity at constant pressure, Cv is the heat capacity at constant volume, which we have been using in the formula for delta U. The ratio of those two is nothing but your gamma. If I put x equal to gamma, that becomes my adiabatic process. I'm not going into the depth of how all of this is related to each other. Just remember, your gamma is equal to Cp by Cv. That will be your adiabatic process, right? So if you want to use this equation, you can use that also, right? Instead of P, you'll just have to use V power minus gamma, nRT by V power minus gamma, whatever. And like you can get the same result, but it's always more convenient to use this result. So how will the PV graph of this function look like? How will the PV graph of this function look like? It will be same, but it will be steeper. So if your PV graph is like this, for an isothermal process, for an adiabatic process, it will be steeper, right? It will be steeper. That is what you need to keep in mind. That's done. And what is the heat capacity for this process? So we know that Q is equals to NC delta T, and every process has its own C. What is the C for adiabatic process? What we know is Q is 0. N is not 0, delta T is not 0, right? It's not 0, this is not 0, so your C has to be 0, right? So for an adiabatic process, your C is 0. But for an isothermal process, your C is infinity, right? Moving on to the next process, which is your isobaric process. What is the characteristic of this? Your pressure is constant. Your pressure is constant. So if your pressure is constant, I will say x is 0. Only if your x is 0, pressure is constant. So your x is 0, right? From that equation. But what all do we need here? Q is equals to delta U plus W. Well, W is not 0, delta U is not 0, Q is also not 0. All the three will exist, so I cannot cancel any terms from here. But in my work term, I have integral P dV, where V goes from Vi to Vf. P is constant. P doesn't change with the volume. It's a constant value. So I can bring it out of the integral only for this process, not for other processes, because I don't know what P is. But here I can say P is constant. So I can bring it out of the integral. I have integral dV, which is Vi to Vf. Happily I can remove this and I can say P into Vf minus Vi. This is the formula for work done, right? For as far as your what do you say, delta U is concerned, is nothing but NCV delta T, right? In fact, there's one more formula for CV, which I'm not going to derive here, right? I'll just write it here for you if you want. CV is also known as is nothing but R by gamma minus 1, right? Where gamma is the same as the Cp by Cv here. The formula for Cv, one of the formulas for Cv is also your R by gamma minus 1. Remember, gamma is nothing but, it's a value which is fixed for a gas. For a monoatomic gas, it has some value. For a diatomic gas, it has some value. For a triatomic or polyatomic gas, it has a fixed value, right? So this gamma depends on what kind of gas are you using, right? So I can replace that here. I have Nr delta T divided by gamma minus 1. And Nr delta T also can be extracted from this equation. PV is equals to nRT. So if I write it as Nr delta T, I can write it as P delta V, because we know that P will not change, only V will change. So I can write it as P delta V, right? So this is nothing but P into Vf minus Vi, which is my P delta T divided by gamma minus 1. This is my internal energy, this is my work done. Using these two I can get Q also, right? And how will the PV graph of this process look like? PV graph, no matter the volume, the pressure will be the same. It will have a fixed height, it will have a fixed value. That's your isobaric process. Finally coming to the isochoric process. The characteristic of isochoric process is volume is constant. When will volume be constant? Oh, by the way, what is the C for this process? The C for this process is nothing but Cp, right? The Cp that we have been using here in this formula for gamma, and we've been talking about, that's the Cp that we valid for this particular process, right? So if I have a gas in some container, and if I know that this will undergo isobaric process, so and I know the change in temperature, then I can know how much heat has been supplied, because Q will simply be equal to N Cp in this case, because this is an isobaric process into delta T. But if this is an isochoric process, when will it be an isochoric process? If I close the container completely, if there is no change in volume, then my C will be Cv, right? In that case, what I can say work done is nothing but integral P dV. dV will be 0 because volume is constant, so change in volume will be 0. That means work done in an isochoric process is 0. So Q equals to delta U plus W. In your delta U plus W, this thing is removed and your Q is equal to delta U, right? So your Q is equals to NCV delta T is equals to delta U, right? So remember, for every process, for all the four processes, in fact for every process, your delta U will have the same formula, but your Q will not have the same formula. In this particular case, your Q and your delta U have the same formula, NCV delta T, right? So you know Q, you know delta U, you know NCV delta T. You can also write it in this form if you want, right? Just that your pressure will change here instead of volume now. So you'll have delta P into V and not P into delta V when you use the same form here, right? And finally, what else do we need? What we need is the VT graph here in this VT graph. How will the VT graph look like, right? Or the PV graph look like rather? PV graph. The PV graph for this process will look like this. No matter what pressure, the value on the x-axis has to be the same. The volume's value, the value of the volume has to be the same, right? So we know that C is my CV here. C here is Cp. This is the PV graph for all the four cases. And this is the relation between Q, delta U and W for all the four cases. With these, I think we have completed all the basic formulas for these basic thermodynamic processes. Remember, every process is just this. It's just this. How is 5 joules divided in two parts? Whether 4-1, whether 3-2, whether 3.99, 1.01, or whether 2-2, or whether 5-0, or whether 0-5, right? Every process is just, it's just how Q is divided. And in fact, if your Q becomes 0, then that becomes your adiabatic process. So I hope you understand that there are infinite thermodynamic processes possible, and we are just going to, and we have just looked at 4 of the basic ones from those infinite processes. With this, we complete the session. I hope you found it informative. Thanks for watching.